Akshay, did you always knew what you wanted to do when you passed out from MBA?
I was all over the place. Saurabh, what about you?
यार मेरे को तो तब भी आइडिया नहीं था, आज भी आइडिया नहीं है.
Confused about your career choices? Wondering what steps to take next? In this podcast called Beyond Campus, Saurabh Garg, founder of C4E, and Akshay Dutt, founder of Unnati, are on a mission to crack open the career success code for the youth. वो बचपन में कहते थे ना, तुम जो चाहे बन सकते हो. So, let's turn the dream into reality.
I'm Sathvik, the CEO at Unocoin, and Unocoin is a trading platform and exchange for Bitcoin and many of the cryptocurrencies in India.
We have all heard about the entrepreneur who, while trying to solve a personal problem he was facing, ends up founding a startup that solves that problem for the world. Something similar happened with Sathvik Vishwanath, the founder of one of India's oldest Bitcoin exchanges, Unocoin. In his search for a cheaper way to get money from his international clients, Sathvik ended up pioneering Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in India. In this very lucid conversation with Akshay Dutt, he demystifies his cryptocurrencies and shows us how powerful and transformative is the technology behind it all, the blockchain. Listen to this masterclass on entrepreneurship and blockchain.
I kind of had made up my mind to do something else than just a family business because I have a younger brother who wanted to take that up at one point of time, and he took the commerce side of subjects, uh, which could help him do the business and such. On the other side, I was on the computer side, the electronic side. So that made me more look at technology aspect of any business and trying to figure out a business opportunity wherever it exists. So that's how the way I grew up was quite different than how my brother did grow up. But at the end of the day, we both do business, but in just like different business. Yeah.
But like you were clear that it's not a job that you are studying for, but you will do a business only.
It was not like completely clear, as in till at least my engineering days. Uh, so I kind of decided that I want to do electronics and communications based engineering when I was in class four. So
Class four. How did you have enough sense at class four to?
because because my mother have a brother who is my mama, right? So he's an electronics engineer, and people have always looked up about him, always like very as a successful person. So I kind of started thinking that I should do something like that as well. And on the other side, my interest in computer science was so strong that I could kind of learn it myself. I didn't really need a formal degree for it. So that made me to think that maybe I should be more looking at the hardware side of things as I'm like electronics engineering.
You had a computer at home and like you used to tinker on that.
Yeah, I had to literally struggle in my first year of engineering to get my first computer. So yeah, I mean, as in like how much money it cost, etc., and how much money I had, how much money I had to take it from my father and such, to just get the first computer. That was in my first year of engineering in the year 2000, right? So till then, I used to go to a computer cafe, like internet cafe. That was run by one of my first cousins. So after being with the computers for maybe already like 10 years till then, so I started. I joined the computer course in my school from my fourth standard onwards. So when I was 11, right? So yeah. But initially it was about DOS, DOS, and uh, then some games and something like WordStar for entering the text and such things. And I think by class sixth or seventh, I started programming in C.
Wow. Like you taught yourself to program in C by that age, huh?
Yeah. I mean, it would. I mean, I generally am good at logic, right? So how something should happen from zero to wherever it should be. So it was not super tough, and the teacher there had been quite helpful to me to actually make it work. So yeah.
So you used to make games or like, I imagine as a kid the biggest thrill would be to make a game only, no?
Yeah, I have done games. I mean, very simple games, and then I had done like Joker, which will draw using the graphics.h file, like how the Joker would look like using a program. And then I had done something like a WordPad, right? So where you could open an application, then open files in it, save files in it, be able to edit, and with menus and everything, completely written in C and C++. So yeah, I mean that kind of very well gave me the hold of uh, hold of various aspects that I was learning till then about the programming languages. So it was a kind of first few projects which where I was able to implement from zero to till the end. Yeah.
Okay, okay. So college was largely academic focus for you. So 2005 you passed out. So then what? Did you get a job on campus, or like, what did you decide to do next?
Yeah, I got selected for Cognizant Technology Solutions, right? So and before I completed my engineering, I was doing some few of my small businesses. So one was to ship the mobile phones from Bangalore. I mean, whenever my friends or other class people wanted it, because I had one of the friends who were traveling between Bangalore and Tumkur every day for his job. So we used to charge a small premium of 200 rupees whenever students there in SIT wanted to buy a mobile phone, and we were getting it the very next day. So at that time, this the eBay or Amazon, I mean, obviously nothing was really popular, and pretty much the internet was not something accessible to everyone yet. And it was most of the time just feature phones. People didn't really have smartphones yet, right? So yeah, that was a mode of transport that we used, was to just have my friend, whoever is coming back from Bangalore to Tumkur, and I just used to tell him what to bring, and he used to bring it, and we used to charge a premium of 200 rupees to sell them. And
But
then
why were you doing this? Was it to make money?
yeah, 200 rupees is a good amount of money. We used to share that. So I used to bring the orders, and he used to bring the item. So yeah, and then because I was going to that internet cafe, and then I learned about how to create domain names, how to create websites, how to create email ID of the same domain name, etc. And I was helping some of the call centers at that time to get their website set up. I used to sell the web space as well, where it's like 50 MB is 1,500 rupees per year, something like that. So where people used to host the images and web pages for their business. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, so you must have been a reseller. Like you must have bought it from a server and.
Yeah. That's right.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. So, what was the experience of working in corporate world? Like you got a job at Cognizant. So, did you enjoy that experience of corporate world, or like was it a frustrating experience?
Uh, I think I learned a lot, like how the corporate culture literally works, and I still implement a lot of whatever I learned even today in my company, right? So for example, how to take from whenever a fresher joins, how to mold them to be like a normal employee at a corporate level, right? So there used to be a program called Campus to Corporate, and I still follow the notes from that, whatever I learned in that class, and I still take up a lot of exercises that was taught to me. It was like a book was given to me, and still I implement some of them, like how to, what could be email etiquettes, it could be telephone etiquettes. Um, so there were a lot of things that the college won't teach for an employee. It'll only have to be learned at or in the corporate world. So that has helped me to go from zero to some place where, from there I could take on as the entrepreneur of the company itself. So yeah, that way it was definitely helpful to get started. And then when it comes to the normal working experience, I was a programmer there for about say 18 months or something like that, I guess. So and then I was also a part of quality assurance team. Then I had to, then I decided I should go for higher education, and that made me move to Melbourne in 2008 to do my MBA in Melbourne Business School.
how did you fund it? Because I mean, you to buy your first computer was something which you had to like really plan out. How did you fund a foreign education?
Yeah, I mean, initially for the first piece that I will have to pay, I mean, because I had worked for, I mean, in the company for about 2 years so far. Then yeah, I had some, and then I still used to run the websites and emails, I mean, email domain names and such things. So that had given me some money as well. Right. So using that, I could somehow fund my first semester. But just after going there, I continued doing the same work, and I was kind of very much able to earn the money that I will have to utilize for my tuition fees, and also for the rent and whatever things. Yeah.
Part-time jobs and stuff like that.
I didn't do the job itself, but I was more or less a freelancer for various things in technology. So yeah, that pretty much was able to fund me. So I always used to find out a niche where some people need some help, and usually the word of mouth was good, where it could quite very well spread around that Sathvik can help with XYZ things, and the artists just used to walk up to me. So that was very easier.
Okay, okay. So in a way, like that, dhanda was in your blood.
Yeah, see, I come from a Vaishya's background, so I mean that's what we do. It could be my great grandfather to great grandfather, it could be father or me. So we kind of look at things as, I mean, in the view of entrepreneurship only, to figure out like in what way you can use something to make a business opportunity out of it, then bring up employees and try to make it bigger, and make it work. So that's how I see it. So it was just there, yeah.
Okay. So after that MBA from Melbourne, then what next? Did you try to work there, or you came back to India?
So the idea was to actually come back to India just after a year and a half of education there. I mean, it was supposed to be a 2 year course, but however, because uh, I had work experience, I was able to get the credits, I mean, free credits, which is worth the 6 months of training there. So I could complete it within 1.5 years. So there, another thing I started doing was to uh, first to do the custom scripting services in a virtual world called Second Life. Right. So I just got to know about this entire new 3D virtual world when I was in Australia and started exploring it. Right. So then, see, it's like a game. As soon as a person logs in, they will see themselves as an avatar, and they can just move around like a game. And every person they are meeting on the ground, there is a real person behind it playing that avatar, and you can chat with them, talk to them, etc. And people could build a lot of things like homes or casinos or games. And let's say if someone is building a home, I used to script the automation steps for them. Someone is building a game, I used to make the game work. So these things to make even the virtual objects to react to something, could be touch of the mouse or someone coming closer to it. um, uh, so for those things, the script should be written, and I used to have some employees with me who was helping me write those kinds of scripts. Uh, and I mean, when I was in Australia, I didn't have employees; I was just writing it myself. But after coming to India, I realized that it was kind of precision, and that made me continue whatever I was already doing in Second Life, which had been successful. So I had to just hire a bunch of employees as soon as I come to India to continue that work. Um, and the way we earn money in Second Life is through a closed loop currency called Linden dollar. It's about 250 Linden dollar is one American dollar, and I had to get that money using PayPal as the mode of transfer, paying about 4% as transaction fees and another 3% as conversion fees. So yeah, I kind of have lost money for 3 to 4 years every month up to 7%, and that is what made me look at alternatives, and alternatives to do this kind of transfer, and that made me stumble upon Bitcoin.
Okay. So before we come to how you stumbled upon Bitcoin, like how much money were you making in this, like in providing services to Second Life users?
It was definitely good amount of money. So our company used to make somewhere around 10 to 15 lakhs every month easily. And then there was some expenses because of employees and such things. So
But you
it
were
was not bad.
comfortably saving a couple of lakhs each month.
Yeah, surely. Yes.
Okay. And in the meantime, like, did you get married, settle down, and all of that happened?
Yeah. So I got married in 2010. So it was an arranged marriage. So just after I started the company, after coming back to India, I happened to get married. And then I continued building the business of providing custom scripting services in Second Life.
Okay. And this was in your hometown only, or did you move to
Yeah,
Bangalore?
no, not yet, not yet. This was just in my hometown. I mean, my hometown actually have a lot of engineering colleges, but there are not really many software companies, and there are a lot of parents of some of the girls like who do the engineering there, who are afraid to send the daughters to Bangalore, so where they kind of have to live on their own and figure out things. So they were very happy to send them to a company located in Tumkur itself. And from what I remember at that time, mine was the only company which was hiring engineers to do any kind of work in Tumkur. So that made me to get a bunch of really good employees, who could work for the company, and it was also a very say interesting job. It's like you write the scripts and you see and you would start seeing things coming to life, right? So a lot of times it's just about okay, you create a web page and then you click a button, something happens. But there's more experience environment. Uh, it's kind of playing God to make things work. So yeah.
Okay. And your experience of Cognizant of onboarding freshers would have helped you to build a team here.
Surely, yeah. So then I learned how to do the interview to an employees as well there. So because I happened to go through the interview process when they were selecting from when for the campus interview. So it definitely have helped me in many ways. Yeah.
Okay. So that 7% which you were paying for getting money into your account was like a thorn in your side. So, how did that lead to a new business getting started?
Yeah. After losing 7% of the money month on month, I happened to look for alternatives. How to do the transfer of money without losing so much of money. Right? So that made me stumble upon Bitcoin, and then I took a little bit of time to study because I'm a techie by myself. I wanted to understand how something is working without someone in between, and still the transactions get through from anywhere to anywhere without any kind of hustle.
So, which year was this then when you were studying Bitcoin?
So later part of 2000, or maybe mid part of 2012 and earlier part of 2013, I guess.
This would have been when Bitcoin was probably worth like couple of dollars types, like very,
Yeah,
very early days, right?
10, 15, $20. Yeah,
Huh,
yeah.
huh, huh. Okay, okay. And like if you can just like explain in simple language, how does Bitcoin work?
See, it's essentially how uh, for email that when we have for post office we have email, right? So at the end of the day, internet is about transfer of information from one place to one place, usually instantly, and there is almost no money for doing that kind of transfer, right? So whenever things happen in physical world, it is slow because there is a distance constraints and there is cost constraints. But when things actually become virtual by getting on the internet itself, it's kind of it go from anywhere to anywhere without the cost or delay of the information. So this is exactly what transformed the advantages in email as compared to post office, right? So you send the email anywhere in the world, it just goes to an instant, and that's pretty much end of it. There is no middleman and such things. Okay. So as of today, when we are doing a transaction, either there is a third party whenever they are doing it through, say, Paytm or Google Pay or bank pay, or else they would have to physically meet and do the exchange of the cash. Okay, so these are the two modes that exist, and that is where the Bitcoin comes into picture, where the transaction started happening without any kind of third person, but with the most efficient way, without money for it, and it is happening instantly. Okay, so we define Bitcoin as the world's first open source decentralized digital currency and payment network. So it's open source because the source code of the entire protocol, anyone can read it. And it is decentralized because the transactions get stored in a very wide network, which is not controlled by one particular person or a country. So anyone whoever want to opt in can be a part of it. And on the other side, this is not just the currency which has some kind of value, but it's also a network which can transfer the currency from one place to one place. So let's say today, dollar can be transferred on Visa network, right? So rupees can be transferred on Western Union network. Similarly, Bitcoin can be transferred on the Bitcoin network. So it's both something that is of value, and it's also is a network which will move that particular value from one place to one place on it. So that is the simplest way I think we can. So this particular network is maintained by a huge set of volunteers, whom we call as Bitcoin miners. They are called miners because they are kind of we call it as mining the transactions. So where the transactions are getting validated and added to something called blockchain, which is a permanent record of all the debits and credits happening on the Bitcoin network. And whenever they do this, there is an incentive for them, which is the newly generated Bitcoin itself. So they are kind of doing some work and getting something valuable, which is Bitcoin. So that's why we call them as Bitcoin miners. So there are hundreds of thousands of them across the world who are doing this work every day, day and night, 24/7.
Okay. So Bitcoin mining is just maintaining the network, which the ledger, so to say, of Bitcoin. That is called Bitcoin mining. When you are maintaining the ledger.
When see one part of the idea is to just maintain the ledger. So you are one of the validating person, and you just make sure that every transaction is getting validated. Okay, so in that you are not really mining for the new Bitcoin. Okay, so then comes, apart from the maintaining the ledger, you are also trying to create new blocks, which is like a new page in the book with transactions on it, and successfully able to complete a page gives the incentive, which is a newly generated Bitcoin itself. So as of now, as we speak, every 10 minutes there is about 6.25 Bitcoin that is getting generated to somewhere in the world. So it will not be more than that. So the more and more people, there are less chances that a unique person will be able to get it. So at that, obviously, when I started getting involved in the Bitcoin space, there may be just a few thousands of miners, so which was not making the mining difficulty, because it's only getting spread across a few thousands of miners. But right now we are talking about hundreds of thousands of miners, because see, like how the price of Bitcoin increases, it's again a demand supply part of the economics equation. When more and more people are there, obviously more and more people would join, because the Bitcoin price have increased, and whoever be able to complete the pages of the block, their incentive is very very high, because 6.25 Bitcoin as of today, we're talking about, is like I think about 3 crore rupees, which is like a lot of money, right? So due to which then there are more people who are joining and making it difficult for others to just get the block, which is a reward for them.
Why is it difficult to create a new block? I mean, why can't I just click something and then a new block is created?
See, here people are competing uh, to solve a particular mathematical equation,
Hmm.
And the idea is that uh, the more stake you have uh, in making the block, the reward should be maximum for you. Okay.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
which means, let's say if I am investing in 1,000 computers to do
Hmm.
the mining, then my chances should be higher than
Hmm.
someone who is just investing 10 computers.
Hmm. Okay.
But it is not like I broadcast or tell the world that I have 1,000, so I should be having higher chances.
Hmm.
It has to be proven by doing some kind of work. Okay.
Okay.
And everyone actually proves it by doing the work itself.
Hmm.
And how do we prove the work is to show that I am working to make it happen
Hmm.
in a way that is not disputable by others. I
Hmm.
cannot just say that there is a, if it is just a simple button and they click the button, the work I'm doing more work. It's not so. So
Hmm.
these computers are generating a huge set of millions or trillions of random numbers
Hmm.
to trying to fit a puzzle
Hmm.
where if that random number is added to the puzzle, the resultant will be of having an attribute which is acceptable for that to be successful. Okay,
Okay.
so it is like this, right? So we have seen these, jigsaw puzzles.
Hmm. Yeah.
So let's say the out of 1,000 pieces that you need to put,
Hmm.
999 pieces are already there, and
Hmm.
everyone is trying to put random pieces for that last piece
Hmm.
to figure out who can complete that jigsaw puzzle first.
Hmm.
Okay,
Hmm. Hmm.
and whoever can do it
Hmm.
will get some prize like that.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Okay, so here the advantage is like this, right? So uh, try to figure out which is the right piece is
Hmm.
tough,
Hmm.
but once that piece is figured out, it's
Hmm.
easy to verify whether it is right piece or not.
Hmm. Hmm.
Okay,
Okay.
so it's like Sudoku puzzle, right? So
Hmm. Hmm.
solving a Sudoku puzzle is tough, but
Hmm.
verifying whether the Sudoku puzzle that is
Hmm.
completed is correct
Hmm.
or not is easier
Hmm.
job.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
here as well it is same thing. So people are
Hmm.
trying to find a missing piece to
Hmm.
solve a particular puzzle, and
Hmm.
wherever that puzzle gets solved, the information gets broadcasted saying this is the missing piece
Hmm.
in that particular puzzle, and all the other computers will validate whether
Hmm.
that missing piece is a valid piece that will go
Hmm.
and fit there.
Hmm.
And if it goes and fit there, then everyone will do a entry in their ledger book saying, okay, the new set of bitcoins was issued to this particular miner, and
Okay.
then the miner will have that ability to spend it in the future.
Hmm. It's like a winner take all thing. Like whoever solves it first gets all the Bitcoin. It's not getting split.
Yeah, it's kind of lottery. I mean, see, that's correct. Whoever solves it first will get it. But we have to also understand that so there is like 24 hours per day, and every 10 minutes it's getting awarded, right? So which means there are 144 prizes distributed every single day. And then if there are hundreds of thousands of computers, uh, then most of them won't be able to get anything in a single day, or are able to get anything in the entire month, sometimes even in the year. Okay. So what everyone has figured out is to do something called pool mining. So what it means is everyone try to become a part of a bigger chain of of network and try to solve it. And because everyone is generating random numbers, that particular mining pool will be able to validate how many random numbers was generated, then share that reward. So let's say if my mining pool A, so there are 100 people below that, and if even one of the person solves it, then I take that 2.65 Bitcoin, 6.25 Bitcoin, and share it among 100 people, so that there is at least something that everyone is getting, or most of them are getting, instead of one person getting a huge grand prize.
So, is this a system which evolved or was it created? And, for example, our money is something which evolved. We started with barter and then it moved into money. And as nations became nations, then they had a central bank which issued money and so on. Now, this system which you have described to me is a complex system that there is a certain mathematical problem. So every time one problem is solved, a new problem is created and all that. So who created this, or how did it come into being?
So at the end, it's just a piece of software, and it was already designed to work in this particular way. So it was designed. So the white paper, which explains the concept of it before the software was created, was written by a pseudonymous author called Satoshi Nakamoto. So in reality, we don't know who exactly it is, uh, but it clearly explains how a incentive-based network is capable of handling the transactions free of cost and instantaneous. And without the intervention from any kind of third party. So and it is a trustless network. So which means once, let's say, if I have one Bitcoin, then I don't need to trust someone where I've kept the Bitcoin. I can just hold the required private key and public key myself, and as long as I hold it securely, that one Bitcoin just belongs to me and no one else, and no one can confiscate it. Uh, so my and I will have the ability to move it to someone else using that private key. So what I'm doing is something called a digital signature to move that particular money. So so in this particular way, people can handle their own Bitcoin themselves without depending on a third party. And as the time has passed, since at least say 5 6 years, the interface of the applications have significantly evolved to make a common man comfortable about creating their own wallets and doing the transactions.
Hold on. From that white paper, how did the software come about? Did the same person, that's Satoshi?
Yeah, same person wrote bigger part of it, but there are many other people who also contributed their code to make it work. So eventually, everything became like one piece of code, and even today there are improvements that keeps on getting suggested, and some of them get implemented as well, so that it's like up to date and be secure.
So there is a central body which would be maintaining the code and doing the enhancement to the code.
There is a code repository, and there is a small team of members who will look at any kind of suggestions that are given by general public, and sometimes they also submit a piece of code. And after doing the audit of that particular piece of code, and if it is a great value addition, that particular small team takes a decision if they want to put it with the rest of the code or not.
And this team is like a team of trusted people that, I mean, how did this team get decided?
This team pretty much existed since the introduction of Bitcoin itself. So, and I mean, nowadays it's not tough. So the people could just go for voting mechanisms or something, where it can even the whether it should be implemented or not also can be decided based upon the stakeholders in the network. Because now it's the information is public about which address has how much Bitcoin. So it should be too tough to ask the holders of Bitcoin to do some vote saying that whether they want a particular new feature or not.
Okay. So, what was your fascination with Bitcoin? Like what opportunity did you see in it?
So once I kind of got myself immersed in this kind of learning about this technology, I was looking at what else is happening in India about this new technology. Then I got to know about a meetup that was happening in Bangalore. So when I went there, that's where I actually have met one of our co-founders, Sunny Ray. He was the organizer of the meetup. So he's a Canadian resident working what at that time he was working for a robotics company. He was in India building the Indian market for the robotic company. So I happened to meet him, and it's the year 2013 actually. That was also the year where price of Bitcoin has gone up from $16 to about $1,050. And the way the Bitcoin price increased, we were doing meetups every weekend. So there are more and more people coming for the meetups. While we could talk great things about Bitcoin in general, there was no place for people to buy Bitcoin yet in India. So that made us to think it as a business opportunity, and we started Unocoin. So Unocoin is a platform where people can, with some simple interface, people can buy and sell Bitcoin by paying money through the bank account. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, is this space regulated? Like when you started, because you are taking money from people and probably holding it in escrow or something like that, and so is this a regulated space? Did you have to clear some regulatory hurdles to start it off, or how did you launch it? Like, tell me about that.
See, at the end, we do allow customers to pay the advance so that using that money, people can purchase whatever they want, etc. So as of today, it's not in a regulated space of things when it comes to how the transactions in Bitcoin is getting handled. But else, the rest of the business is obviously regulated like any other business. It's just that the service we provide is for Bitcoin, right? So Bitcoin itself is unregulated, and we look forward for regulations to come sometime in the near future. So, but whatever is applicable with the present laws of land, we just need to make sure that that is properly followed, and that made it quite simple for us. And actually, look at this as a business venture and start it.
So what did it start like? Like, tell me about the product journey. Did it start as a website where you can create an account?
Yeah, create an account, submit the KYC documents. Once one of our administrators or customer care executives check the documents and approve it, then the user would have a verified account. Then he was able to buy and sell Bitcoin. So if he's buying Bitcoin, he has to send money to us. If he's selling Bitcoin, then we used to send the money to his bank account to complete the transaction. So it was simple buy and sell on day one.
Okay, okay. So if he was selling Bitcoin, then he would enter like the public key and the private key, and then you would sell this and then transfer the money to him, something like that.
I mean, he would not enter the public key and private key on our website itself, but there are wallets which allows him to do that entry. And once he is able to successfully enter that, it will start showing how much bitcoins is there in that particular public key, private key pair. And he will be able to move it either to his Unocoin wallet and then sell it and get the money. So, and if he wants the Bitcoin, then he would just pay money to us, and we will give him Bitcoin. As simple as that.
And in a Unocoin wallet, like a wallet is
See,
necessary.
we give it initially in Unocoin wallet, but customers will have the ability to transfer it anywhere they want, or whenever they want. Yeah.
Any other, like a wallet is a necessary part of this thing. Like, you must have a wallet.
Yeah, but not everyone understands how to create their own wallet. So we provide the wallet facility for them. A lot of people after purchasing they leave it in the wallet itself because then it's more easier whenever they want to sell.
Okay, so people could, if they were technically savvy, could create their own wallet, or they could use any of the existing wallet services.
Hmm. That's it. That's right. Yeah, it was simple. Yeah.
Okay, and what was your monetization strategy?
So we used to charge a small percentage of the invoice value as fee, and then collect GST on top of that, or the service tax on top of that, and we used to pay it to the government. So our revenue was the fee that we were charging on it.
What percentage do you charge, or has it changed over the years?
The initial, I think, 2 years or so, we were charging 3% as transaction fee, and then we drop it down to I think 1.5, then it's to 1%, and now we only charge 0.7% as transaction fees wherever people are buying and selling Bitcoin directly. Yeah.
Okay, got it. Okay, okay. And what kind of like, how did you get users in, or what kind of numbers did you see in the first year? And tell me about that growth journey.
I think by the say end of second year or so, we had about 15 to 20,000 users, is what I remember.
And how did you generate that? Like, was it through some paid marketing campaigns,
We
or?
were we were only option for people to buy and sell Bitcoin, at least for a year or year and a half. So, and we were providing quite good customer service. as well. So with the toll-free number and such things. So it was usually used to be the word of mouth. We have never believed in spending a lot of money for digital marketing activities.
Hmm. Okay. So 15, 20,000 users, but these people would transact how frequently? Like, was it like one transaction in a year, or like?
Some of them are like investors, so who want to just buy and just hold it for many years. But there are some who want to sell it at even if they're getting like 10 or 15% profit. I mean, we had all kind of traders. Then we had freelancers accepting Bitcoin as mode of payment. Then there are merchants who are again accepting Bitcoin for the products, both online and offline. Then there were some speculators who were trying to buy and sell every few days to make money. And there were investors who will just buy and hold for longer term. So yeah, well, it was very wide spread. The reason why they are buying is quite widespread, and also the age range that was most active was between 25 to 40. And usually male population is highest. Um, so that's what we have seen. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So were you earning enough through transactions to fund the business, or did you need external funding?
I mean, we weren't really taking the industry standard salaries as the founders. It was like very negligible. So due to which it was kind of sustaining. And then we had to look for funding so that once we have the money, we can do better hires and then go for acquiring more customers. So yeah, we started looking at funding just maybe some 2 or 3 months after we started the company, and we secured and got the first round of funding from Barry Silber's Digital Currency Group in 2014.
Okay. Okay. The funding was so that you can invest in building better technology, like a better user interface, and
Yeah, and also to hire more employees, better employees.
for employees, for what? For tech and for customer care. Like,
For both. Yeah.
okay. Okay. Hmm. Got it. Okay. And uh, okay. And so you were at about 15-20,000 by like about 2015. So what was the journey from there till today? Like, how has?
Product wise, it's I mean we try to address whatever are the concerns for our users. So users worry about volatility of the price of Bitcoin. So we built something called systematic buying plan. It is like SIP for mutual funds. Right, yeah. And there were many freelancers accepting Bitcoin as a mode of payment, but because they are working for US based companies, they have to literally stay awake all the night for Bitcoin to come and get it confirmed and then sell it so that they are not subject to the variation in the prices, right? So we built something called auto sell feature for them, where whenever the Bitcoin comes to the unique address assigned to them, then it will automatically get sold and the money go to the bank account of the user. So they can very safely distribute, give and share that Bitcoin address to the employer and go to bed. And if they do the Bitcoin transfer, everything is automated till they see the money in the bank account, in their own bank account. So it was just like turns up by the morning. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. Okay. And but in terms of the number of users on the platform, how did that grow?
Yeah. By 2017, we kind of touched 1 lakh customers, and by the end of 2017 or the earlier part of 2018, we had close to about 10 to 11 lakh customers, so which was like a 10x growth in that single year. And in 2018 onwards, there was a restriction from the Reserve Bank of India on the banks that the bank should not support the cryptocurrency companies and its customers. So that had to be fought through for about 2 years, during which we could not really, build up great. I mean, we could not continue building up great customer base. But after winning that case in March 2020, it's again back on track, and we have signed up close to about 2 lakh customers or so far.
Okay. Okay. So this case, how did it impact you? Like you gave an example of somebody who's earning in bitcoins and wants to transfer it to cash. Could he still do that after the ban happened?
Uh, he cannot use the bank account for it, but he could do it himself. Yeah. So, but the banks had a restriction not to support the transactions happening in crypto.
So the money could not hit his account.
That's right. So, I mean, the bank was not supposed, see, the restriction was on banks, not on users actually. The banks had the restriction from Reserve Bank of India that the banks should not support cryptocurrency exchange and the customer's account where the transaction is happening for exchange of cryptocurrency.
Hmm. Hmm. So, like, how did you survive in this period? Did this mean that you had like zero transactions happening? Because that's the whole deal, no? Like, you take money out from your bank account and buy Bitcoin, or you sell Bitcoin and it comes into your bank account. So, if that is blocked, then like, did it like become zero, like your transactions?
We had some crypto to crypto transactions where people are converting from, say, Litecoin to Ripple and such things on one side. But yeah, the revenue was very, very less, in fact. So that made us to burn lot part of the money that we raised money for in 2016. So we had to use that money and we had to lean down our company in 2 rounds of firing so that we continue to sustain and have the chance to get back on business whenever it gets started at the Supreme Court.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. And like you were personally part of the case, or like was it an industry body fighting the case, or like?
Industry body, yes, uh, but there was also something called human rights that was getting affected. The industry body cannot play the victim of human rights because industry body is not human. So my co-founder Harish had to actually file the case as individual as well, and I was significantly helping him and the lawyers to have everyone understand how the present business works, so that the proper messages are being passed on to the judges at the Supreme Court. And finally, yeah, it took about 2 years, but however, we got the verdict finally.
And Bloom supported you through that 2 year period of the ban, like in terms of.
They didn't explicitly support, but they were definitely of great moral support on one side. And whatever money we had raised from them helped us to support ourselves so that we can wait for ban to be lifted from Supreme Court.
Okay. Okay. So tell me about the various types of cryptocurrencies. I remember a year or two back there was this like a Cambrian explosion where there were a lot of new cryptocurrencies coming out. Is that craze still there? How many of those cryptocurrencies still exist today? Do you see that there is space for more than one cryptocurrency beyond Bitcoin?
See, there is the Bitcoin's source code is open source, which means anyone can create variations of Bitcoin with little different features and give it their own name. And sometimes it will be particularly helpful for a specific small set of customers or for a particular industry or anything like that. So where it makes sense. Yeah, so let's say if someone is creating someone created something called Ethereum, right? So which is a network. On top of that, Ether is the currency for transactions. And the specific purpose of creating that is to be able to write smart contracts which can self-execute depending upon some kind of trigger externally. So and then there was Ripple network, so which was helping banks to do the transactions in a quicker way. So like that, there are many cryptocurrencies that have existed since the introduction of Bitcoin. But usually it comes up with its own agenda uh, and try to make that particular agenda work. So as you speak, probably we know about 5,000 cryptocurrencies at least today. Uh, so yeah, for at least 5,000. So a lot of them are clones of one another. Uh, so in reality, there may be about 10 or 15 different, core real source codes, and then there'll be variations after variations of better variations, and everyone has its own network.
So, are these other cryptocurrencies also aiming to compete with Bitcoin as a form of currency, or are they solving some other problem? And so if I'm you give the example of Ether. So if I'm holding Ether, am I holding Ether as a form of investment, or because I want to take advantage of the use case?
You could do for both. So why you are holding depends only on you. Or maybe you can hold a part of it for investment and part of it for actually making the transactions to work. So, but for the transactions to work, it's like a machine. So where you have to put some fuel, right? So in a similar way, Ether is the fuel to make smart contracts to work on the Ethereum blockchain. Um, so, and if you're holding Ether, either you're doing it for speculative reasons, or you could be doing it, just for, say, looking at like currency or investments. So, as of now, it's like any the platform like ours wouldn't really exactly know why you're buying Bitcoin. So, what you want to do with it is up to you. Yeah.
Okay, okay. But have these other currencies seen that same kind of growth as Bitcoin?
There are definitely many which have seen better growth in percentage, but those are not of a huge network number of people, right? So this is more about how big the network exists so that the transactions will be more secure and it happens in a smoother way. So due to which there are some new projects which have seen really good growth, and but it has also seen declines sometimes, and some of them have even got to zero and such. But on the other side of things, yeah, I haven't really seen anything which is as stable as Bitcoin and continue to grow in the value. Yeah.
Okay, okay, okay. And what's an ICO?
The ICO means initial coin offering. So it's similar to IPO, which is like initial public offering where a particular company issues their stock for people like general public. So they could raise some investment and these stocks are tradable on the exchange, right? So in the similar way, but when it comes to ICO, there is nothing like stocks. It is just that people invest their Bitcoin or in whatever way they want, and then there is and once their network launches and such things, uh, then there is a price increase after which a lot of them and a lot of the investors can exit their positions from. So helping the network to kickstart somewhere, they'll need. A lot of them have done ICOs.
Hmm. Okay. 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 Got it. Okay. I read about this cryptocurrency called Dogecoin, which started off like a joke. How is that doing now?
Yeah, it kind of started off like joke. That's correct, but it's kind of a hard fork, or maybe it's kind of actually a fork from the Bitcoin based blockchain. They just created huge number of smaller assets or smaller size assets,
Hmm.
let's say, and gave some notional value for it initially.
Hmm.
But then as they continue to get traded, it has acquired some value. And because the transaction fees to do on dot chain is very less, and per dot chain, I mean per dot coin is also like I think few rupees.
How do you pronounce it? Dodge, you said?
DOG, yeah, DOGE,
You pronounce it as Dogecoin.
Dogecoin, yeah, you can call it as Doge. Yeah. So because it's only few rupees per unit, a lot of people become comfortable to hold a full unit of something than a very small unit of Bitcoin. So there are people who would want to do it that way. So yeah, we will have on both sides of it. Yeah.
Okay. 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 So, how do you see the future for Unocoin? Because there is like a rumor that India is going to be banning crypto completely, and it will be the most Bitcoin unfriendly country in the world, and all of that. So what do you see as the future of Unocoin?
Yeah, that's quite tricky, and we will have to see what will be the terms and conditions of those kind of of such kind of ban for us to figure out the next strategy. So as of now, yeah, we keep on reading in the news that for India, this particular technology is not good for whatever reasons, right? So yeah, we will have to wait and see how the regulations come up and then figure out the next steps. So that's how I see it as today.
Beyond Campus is a production of the Podium.in, powered by Career Launcher. If you like this show, then we are sure that you will love our other shows on subjects like entrepreneurship, marketing, books, and drama. Check out thepodium.in for a complete list of all our shows.